Shalom everybody, it's been a while. Welcome to Talking Tachles. Yes, we're bringing it back to you all because we've missed you guys. It's been quite a year. I'm delighted to be sitting here with the chairperson of World WIZO, Anita Friedman. And Anita, what a year it has been. It was meant to be our 100th year, big parties, big celebrations, and the absolutely unprecedented happened. We dealt with COVID, we've come out of COVID, and in the last couple of weeks we've had another grave situation with rocket attacks on probably about 3/4 of Israel's citizens, placing many Israelis under immediate threat. And of course, WIZO, as we always do, have responded to that. Can you tell us a little bit about what these past few weeks have been like and what we are doing in response to the threats from Gaza?
First of all, I'm happy that you're retaking this Talking Tachles, and I am very honored to be the first one that you are doing the interview with. And yes, we've had a rough year and a half, I must say, what with the pandemic first, but thank God that we're getting out of thanks to the Israeli government. And lo and behold, when we thought that everything was clear, we were in the clear, we could resume finally a bit of routine, missiles started raining on us. And me personally, I was in Tel Aviv in my home with my family. We were going to watch a movie about Adolf Eichmann, and at 9 o'clock the sirens started, and we couldn't believe it. I live on the beach, and I started seeing the Kippat Barzel shooting down missiles. What's going on? Of course, we ran into the shelter, and from then on, the next couple of weeks was hailstorm. But as you all know, here in WIZO, we are resilient, and we did what we need to do. So on the three areas of WIZO where we had to do things. First area was the early age. We had to close all the daycare centers, and that was by order of the Ministry of Defense and the Army. All the daycare centers in all the country were closed. So as everybody was closed, we were closed as well. So that on one hand, because a lot of people ask me, but you have your daycare center since the road is the whole thing is a shelter. Yeah, but how do you get to it? How do you get back to it? And also the caretakers, they have their own families. So no, everything was closed. So that's regarding the early age. Regarding the youth villages, this is the first time in a long time that areas in the center of the country were attacked. So we had snarple or missiles raining down on Hadassim. Thank God it came into an empty field, and the shrapnel did some damage, structural damage, in our units, one of our family units, and we moved all the students and all the people to a different area. But in the other ones, even though we didn't see direct hits, it was terrible. Remember, our youth villages some of them are over 100 years old, and yes, we've been renovating, but our shelters in some of them are not up to par because we never felt the need for it, you know. And now we're reassessing the whole thing. In Nachlat Yehuda, for example, we have the Naale group, which are kids that come before their parents, kids from all over the world. The Naale program in Nachlat is specifically from Ukraine and the former Soviet Union. And the director there, Galia, told us that the kids were having PTSD. These are children from the Ukraine that had the war in Ukraine. And the moment the missiles started falling, they were like in shock. So they had to deal with that, as well as finding them a safe place. Same thing in Nahalal, same thing in Miraemek, everywhere. In Gan Vanov, in Gan Vanov we have a cute story of a volunteer that came to volunteer from Holland, and she came it was on a Tuesday. She came and missiles started falling. She couldn't go back. She stayed to sleep in one of the teacher's house, and the next day they sent her in a taxi to Tel Aviv. This caught us everyone by surprise. Now, our shelters for abused women, of course, they're kept open, and they do have shelter there. I mean, they have a bomb shelter, so they were safe. All our centers, WIZO centers, all over the country were closed. The Bigudio, the second-hand stores were closed. Slowly but surely, we just started to reopen now, and we started assessing the needs of the organization in light of these new developments. For example, we're coming up with a new emergency campaign to answer the needs of shelters in all these youth villages and certain daycare centers and certain WIZO centers.
But also you touched on something very, very important. You know, once the rockets stop and once you are physically safe, there is still the massive impact on mental health and getting children, getting members of the schools, getting members of society back to a place where they can cope with daily life. Can you tell us a little bit about what we do? And we are very active in Sterot in helping to deal with post-traumatic stress disorder. What do we do with helping people recover from a situation where you're dealing with this constant sense of danger?
Well, you're absolutely right. We've been dealing with these situations for many, many years. So we, so many years ago, decided to bring into our youth villages and everywhere we can a program called HOSEN, Resilience, where it teaches the kids, the parents, the teachers how to deal with terrible situations like this. So first of all, we have that program. We have this Sterot Center that takes care of people from all the area, and that's exactly what we give. We give them tools, and we give them therapies, and we help them cope with this situation. In our youth villages, this was a very hard year for the children. I mean, first the coronavirus made them go back to their homes, which a lot of them have not very healthy environments to go back to. So for them it was extremely difficult. Also remember, teenagers, main thing in their life is socializing, so that side as well. So we do have now, even though we have in place resilience programs and therapies, we need to up it. We need to be sure that everybody gets a response and gets treatment when they need it. The other thing we're doing, because one of the worst things that happened this time as opposed to other times is the way the coexistence between Israeli Arabs and Israeli Jews was upended. This is something new, and this is something that also affects a lot of our population. So in the youth villages, they're trying to talk to the kids about the day after tomorrow. What is going to happen? You still need to continue. A lot of these kids come from mixed cities, and their neighbors and their friends are either Arab Israelis, Arab Jews, so on and so forth. Also in our youth villages,
and in all our projects we have
exactly. We have the coexistence. We have people that work with us that are from every different religion, and Arab Israelis, Druze Israelis, Circassians, Jewish Israelis, everything. So on the one hand, the people that work for us, we needed to make sure that we're sending a message of coexistence, that we need to continue working tomorrow. On the other hand, to give tools to these kids on how to go back the day after, how to restore this coexistence that is so important and so basic for us.
You've spoken a lot about the situation in Israel that has changed dramatically in the last 3 weeks, and thank goodness as we sit here today and record this, we have a ceasefire in place. So the rockets have stopped, and now we begin that very important task of rebuilding trust with our neighbors, of looking at solutions, how we move forward. But one area that concerns us greatly is our global family. And what we've seen in the last 3 weeks is this unbelievable rise in global anti-Semitism that is affecting not just us here in Israel, but our federations. You guys, our WIZO family, all over the world are severely impacted by the language and the action sometimes turning violent. And like you have always been there for us in our time of need, we want to be there for you guys in your time of need. I mean, I must say that in over 20 years of working in this field, I've never seen rhetoric the likes of which we are seeing now. In fact, we're starting to call social media a social media pogrom because of the level of attacks, the level of hate speech. What kind of message do you want to share with our Chaverot and our Chaverim? We know there's many of you who support us around the world, our Mitzos around the world who are enduring this incredible wave of hate.
First of all, I want to thank you, Rolene, for the job you have done in giving the federations and everybody that needs me personally to send my private family, for giving us the tools to fight this horrible animal that is rearing its head again, the anti-Semitism. In all my life, I've never encountered such vitriol and such remarks as we've seen lately. So first of all, I'm glad that you're with us and you're part of us, and thank you. I hope the federations, and I know that they've been using the tools that you've given us, we're all using them. And from here, I want to send to you, my friends in the federations, our utmost solidarity. We're here for you. This is why Israel was created. Don't get any confusion. They're going to continue to attack us no matter what, and this is why Israel is here for you in any way that we can help. Use us. Tell us what you need, and we're here to support you and to bring you our solidarity. And yes, share with the most people that you can the tools that we've given you, because they help. They do give the other side of the story, which is much more complex. It's very easy to use slogans. And try and share this with as many people. You don't know, it's like a wave. You don't know the effect this has. Even if you change one or two people's minds, it's already a big deal. So keep on doing it, and we're here for you.
Well, I couldn't think of a better way to end this. I mean, we're in our 100th year still, and in this century, WIZO as a movement has endured a lot. We have endured fascism in many of our federations, apartheid in one. We've endured the unthinkable, the Holocaust, and here we are 100 years later, standing on the shoulders of the giants that came before us. And we know that whatever was in them and our ancestors is in us as a WIZO women in 2021 today. I want to thank you, Anita Friedman, Chairperson of World WIZO, for taking the time to talk Tachlas. It's been a while. And I'm Rolene Marks. I am the World WIZO Executive in charge of Public Diplomacy and Hasbara in the Chairperson's office. And I want to say to you, be strong out there, be safe, shalom, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye-bye.